A nice quick one for you here. Welcome back to Andrew Says. Amy Klobuchar is a lawyer who's running for president in the United States as a Democratic national nominee. You've probably never heard me talk about Amy Klobuchar because she's unpopular and her ideas are just not actually that good. We don't need to talk about her. She's not near the top. We talk about Bernie Sanders. We talk about Yang. We talk about Biden. We talk about the Clintons. Of course, we talk about the DNC as a whole. This video is more about how old guard politicians, rhinos, you want to call them, whatever derogatory term you can think of, always forget about the internet. They always forget that there's evidence that we can dig up. And the whole news cycle that just goes on, what, 48 hours possibly? Everything's gone in 2 days if you have a problem with it. People always forget that there's this footage. They always forget, and they bank on you forgetting that there's the internet. Or as George Bush would say, the internets. I heard rumblings on the internets. Now, Biden and Warren and Sanders all forget their stances on issues 5, 10, 15, 30 years ago. Good God, they're old. And not in a good way. They're not updating their viewpoints on illegal immigration or border policy or freedom of speech or anything like that. They're just changing with the wind. It'd be different if they had, ideology and logic strains to back this up, but they don't. They're just going with what's popular now. They all seem to forget people have access to these clips. But Amy Klobuchar, make sure that's pointing the other direction, correct direction, she's different. She thinks she's a stand-up comedian running for president. Maybe I shouldn't blame her for trying to be different, but this is what we've come to. And she thinks similarly, but she thinks she can get away with telling the same story, poorly mind you, like a stand-up comedian who would never do this. They would never go around, well, let's just stop there, and she thinks it's hilarious. Let's stop there and we'll talk about it after. Take a look at Amy.
The president actually sent out a tweet. He made fun of me for talking about climate change in the middle of a blizzard, and he called me Snow Woman. So I wrote back, hey, Donald Trump, the science is on my side, and I'd like to see how your hair would fare in a blizzard. So I wrote back, hey, Donald Trump, the science is on my side, and I'd like to see how your hair would fare in a blizzard. So I wrote back, Donald Trump, the science is on my side, and I'd like to see how your hair would fare in a blizzard. Sometimes, if you haven't noticed, you use a little humor. Like when he called me Snow Woman at my announcement in the middle of that thing, I wrote back on Twitter, I'd like to see how your hair would fare in a blizzard. And I'd like to see how your hair would fare in a blizzard. Mr. Umbrella. Mr. Umbrella Man. Senator. And he called me Snow Woman.
Don't you just love the part where she forgets about the Umbrella Man? She forgets what she's saying there. Now, no good stand-up comedian is going to go and do 30 different shows where all the cameras are present from press. They're not going to do that because this stuff will happen. What they'll do is if they're doing a special, they might cut up clips from all these different shows and piece it together in continuity for the set. Otherwise, you just have people doing this. You have people going around doing the same jokes over and over again, which they do, of course, but nobody knows it because they have come up with new material every time, so we're not getting the same thing on our screens all the time. In the club, you're getting the same thing, but you don't know it because you haven't heard it before. But Amy needs to know that there's cameras in all these places she's doing the joke at. I almost destroyed my microphone. She needs to know that people can find this online. And this comes from The Daily Show with Trevor Noah, of all people, mocking this. And I don't like his comedy or his show, but this is funny. And Amy, if you're going to do something to try to stand out from the crowd, repeating the same story unfunnily 35 times over and over again, I don't think that's going to do it. It's not going to get you to have a Yang gang. It's not going to have, I don't know, can we call Joe Biden's followers the Bloods now? Just a thought?